Hi guys, so let's just give like 5 minutes for other panelists to join and then we'll officially start. Okay, I think we should start. Others will join. We have two more panelists that join us soon. So hi, good afternoon, everyone. Yeah, I think sorry if you're in a different time zone, good morning. If you're with us in the afternoon, good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to the Ndundo West Africa webinar. Today we're going to having a lovely conversation. My name is Amanda Ozaba. I'm the head of licensing West Africa for Ndundo. So I handle licensing operations for Nigeria and Ghana, or rather, I supervise licensing operations for Nigeria and Ghana. So with that being said, I would introduce our moderator immediately in the presence of Tammy Romeo. But before I welcome her to the floor, I'll take my time to read her bio because it deserves to be read. So you understand the people that we're having this conversation with today. So Tammy Romeo, when she was born, her parents named her Tomino Saki. I hope I'm not spoiling that name, Romeo, but she is popularly known as Tammy Romeo. She's a music business executive who has worked with the top Nigerian music labels and musicians to usher and transition the entertainment industry, especially in Nigeria, into a new phase of corporate structure. A trained lawyer, Tammy obtained her LLB degree from the University of the Gambia and was called to the Nigerian bar in 2016. Tammy found her calling in the entertainment industry early when she joined the legendary music label Chocolate City Music. In her time at Chocolate City, Tammy was able to plan and execute the first ever nationwide tour, CBN Tour 2019 with M.I. Abaga, that made having your PVC a prerequisite for entering the concert venue. She then joined another music industry giant, Aristocrat Record, in the role of a legal and business development associate, managing the African team for Sheyi Shey, while also functioning as artist liaison for two Grammy Award nominated producers, Kelpi and TMXO, as well as other renowned and promising producers like Focus Rami and Sazi. Tammy also worked with tax agency as the managing director of Incredible Music, the talent management arm of the company. She managed the music business of the label and the three artists under the label, M.I. Abaga, Jesse Jaggs, and Loye. In her time there, she supervised the release of M.I. Abaga's latest album, The Guy. She also supervised the release of Jesse Jaggs' latest single, Chant, Down Babylon, and the release of Loye's debut single, Runaway. Tammy currently works at Maven Records as Bayani's business manager. Spending most of her career in the entertainment space, Tammy is sure that the Nigerian entertainment scene is only at the beginning of its upward move, and believes that with more effort and dedication to excellence, we will become the global symbol for music exploitation. A round of applause, everyone. Clap in your own way for Tammy Romeo, our moderator.
Hi. Hi, everybody. Oh my God, that was actually a really long one. I didn't realize. Nice to meet everyone. I think we should start with an icebreaker so that it takes down. That was a little bit intense. But nice to see you all. I'm really happy to be here. It's actually a pleasure being in the presence of, all these amazing people. Thank you so much for everyone who's joining us. I see we're about 26 people on the call now. So I'm really happy to see you guys. This is supposed to be a conversation that should shape the way we see music downloading and legalization in the next couple of years. So, of course, we're going to start here by having these conversations and getting to know the ways in which we can get into accepting, new ways of getting music. So, before we get serious into the whole thing, we'll just start with some icebreakers. And then after that, we're going to meet our panelists and then we take it up from there. I hope that's okay by everyone. So yeah, Mandy, you help me with this one. So you just help me choose anybody that you feel like can answer this question. I just throw it to me. It could be people in the audience, so let's just go like that. Okay, so highlight the biggest artists that you have represented and from which country. So any of the panelists, Amanda, take it away.
Panelists, two people, one from Nigeria, one from Ghana. I have from Nigeria, Patrick, now from Ghana, Ricky. You have the floor.
All right. Let me speak first because our Ghana Jollof is the best. So let the best come first.
You really don't start that debate yet. Let's just let it.
All right. So as you rightly mentioned, my name is Ricky Tennyson. To highlight some of the top artists that I've worked with, well, because of the background that I'm from, working in a music and entertainment platform, I have come into contact with most of the top artists: Sarkodie, Shatawale, Stonebwoy, Chance the Rapper, Vic Mensa, Benson from Nigeria, Pato Ranking. Of course, because we provide certain PR and marketing solutions for artists, it gives us the opportunity to interface with these artists on a day-to-day. And fortunately, it's not just by the work, but also we try to understand what they are looking for or what their intentions are as artists, as creatives. And so it gives me an opportunity to also understand, where they are heading. So yes, I think these artists are directly people I've worked with.
Amanda, the next week.
It's Patrick. He knows himself. He was ready to jump in.
Ready. I think officially I would say work with Gucci. Currently working with her. I've worked with the Cavemen, their first debut album, and I've worked with Basket Mouth, his first debut album. So those are like the three top projects or three top artists I've worked with.
Nice. So I think this one will go to Antoinette. What do you do for fun? Can she hear us?
Antoinette, can you hear us? Okay.
I don't think so. So Ernest, take us away. What do you do for fun?
Yes.
What do I do for fun? I love to cook.
Oh,
Yeah, I love to cook. I love to try new recipes.
okay.
I love to listen to music, movies. Then hang out with friends, basically. Yeah. So that's what fun looks like for me.
Okay. Mandy, you're not escaping this one, Sha. What three African artists are you listening to right now?
Okay, at the moment, right now, first Young John, because of his album. I don't know. He got me. That's all I can say. That's one. Two, because we've been Dundo personally, we've been trying to penetrate into the North. So weirdly, I've been consuming a lot of content from North. So
Okay.
yes, Hamisi Breaker is one other African artist that I'm listening to at the moment. And the last person would be wait, 1 minute. Let me be sure. Let me not say something that is wrong. The third person I would give that to should be Olive Boy. He has a song that I'll be Olive the Boy. He has a song now that has held us on chokehold, Asylum. TikTok everywhere, we're dying. So those are the three people for me. I think we should ask one of the people in audience. We have a Mecca talent that is very, his participation level is high. I like that. So Emeka Talent, can you hear us? You can just drop your answer in the chat, webinar chat box or something. Okay. Okay. Kami, what was your question?
My last question.
Yeah.
Okay. What three African artists are you listening to?
So Emeka Talent, we're asking what three African artists are you listening to at the moment?
Doesn't have to be Nigerian. Anywhere, Africa.
Uganda, Tanzania, Namibia, Senegal, literally anywhere.
Actually, I should put you guys on to good music from Senegal. You should listen to Youssou
To who?
Youssou. That's a great one from Senegal. But
Okay, so
okay, how about is listening to Shatawale, Kofi, Hinata, and Olive the Boy. You have good taste in music. I like that. So, Amanda, let's just go straight ahead. Give us your welcoming address as the head of licensing West Africa.
okay.
Yay, round of applause for Amanda.
All right. I don't think there's anything so much I want to say. First of all, like I said earlier, thank you all for joining this webinar. The essence of the webinar is for us to talk about music downloading. For a lot of times, and to this moment, a lot of people sense music downloading as a thing of piracy, which isn't so, because Dundo, we've legalized it and we're using that way to create monetization opportunities for artists. So at the moment, as at March of this year, we recorded 34.5 million active users, monthly active users, which shows that a lot of people might not have that, might have the streaming numbers, but a lot of people still prefer to download content and listen to it on their own time. And then because of the number of people that we have, or the number of people that still want these downloadable contents, that's why we have illegal sites that still exist and still has the numbers. So what this entire conversation is about is to show you that there are ways to make this downloading of a thing legal. Number one thing about Ndundo is that if you have your content on Ndundo, you can literally ask us to take down your content from every other illegal site, which means anybody that wants to download your content has to come to Ndundo and you make money from it. So two things, we're legalizing downloading and we're also using it as a monetization purpose, because even anything now more than ever, I realize that there are certain restrictions with streaming. Streaming money, if you're in the industry very well, you know streaming money is not as long as people think that it is. So is necessary to create different avenues that we could use to monetize music catalog while it's fresh at any state or at any time. At the moment, we have some songs from far back, and then those songs are still doing numbers. We have some new songs and they're still doing numbers. And I'm saying like literally anybody, there's no threshold onto, oh, you must get 10 downloads before you start monetizing. But once your content is there and people want to download your content, you're already monetizing. So I think I've used this opportunity to just welcome you guys, introduce the topic. Our panelists, we carefully as a team picked out the best of the guys that you can have this conversation with. And we're going to be having an open-minded conversation. The audience and the attendees will also look forward to your comments, to your questions, because it's not just the panelists giving us their knowledge. It's a conversation. What is your opinion on music downloading? What's your concern about music downloading? How can we make this more profitable for both the artists and also get the music consumers to also accept this as a means of consuming music? That's what this entire webinar is about. So welcome everyone that is here. At the moment, we have about 33 people. Hopefully, as conversation grows or continues, the numbers grows. But these people we have here, thank you for joining us and welcome to the webinar. And I'm passing the mic over to Tammy. On with it.
Okay, thank you, Amanda, for that amazing welcoming address. So basically my role will be to walk us through the entire conversation and give it a little bit of structure as we go. So the first thing I'm going to do, we've already seen the panelists, but we don't know their names, we don't know what they do. So I'm just going to go ahead and introduce each person. So the first person I'll do an introduction for is Patrick. So we have Patrick, please correct me if I'm wrong with your surname. We have Patrick Onwebu. I think I tried that.
Yeah, that's correct. Yeah.
Okay, so we have Patrick Onwebu, who is currently the founder of Loud Behavior, a digital music marketing and talent management company. Is also one of the pillars of supporting the secular display of African music talents locally and around the globe. He brings 8 years worth of opposite experience to the industry with strong skills in digital marketing, media, strategy, A&R, management, content creation, and design. His aptitude for entrepreneurship and his love for music blends with his deep understanding of consumer behavior to position him as one of the seasoned digital marketing service providers in Nigerian music entertainment scene. Patrick currently manages top Afro-pop sensation star Gucci. Everybody knows who Gucci is. No need for introduction. Second person I have on my list is Ricky Tennyson, the connoisseur of Ghanaian jollof. So I'll go ahead and give him an introduction. He's a seasoned music executive and head of live music business at ByteTunes, a prominent music investment company. He's also the co-founder of Full Circle Management, a leading talent management and music marketing agency known for its innovative strategies for emerging and established artists. With experience as head of A&R and programs director at 3Music, is this eMusic? Yes, and serving as second stage manager for Afro Nation, where he was responsible for talent bookings and performance schedule. Ricky brings a wealth of expertise in media, entertainment, and event management. He's also contributed to the music industry through roles such as co-producer for Access Ghana, a music workshop held by news and media agency, Music in Africa, and also served as the Academy member for the Ghana Music Awards Festival. Welcome, Ricky Tennyson. Please, round of applause for everybody. We have Antoinette Boma, who is a private legal practitioner from Ghana who specializes in entertainment law. She's also the managing counsel for Eden Law and Associates and serves as legal counsel to a number of artists, recording labels, and talent management companies in Ghana. She graduated from the University of Ghana in 2016 and was also called to the Ghanaian Bar in 2019. She assists in the teaching of LLM/MA Alternative Dispute Resolution at University of Ghana School of Law. She's also a music business executive certified by MBA for Africa. So welcome, Antoinette. Finally, Ernest. Ernest is a seasoned digital content and media specialist, bringing over 6 years of hands-on experience in digital distribution, music marketing, and strategy. His expertise extends to artist labor relations and partnerships, licensing, and music curation across diverse sectors, including music distribution, DSP, and mobile telecommunication. He is driven by his deep passion for contributing to the creative industry by leveraging the dynamic intersections of digital platforms and data analysis to fuel the growth and innovation. Currently steering the ship at Mad Solutions, Africa's leading digital music distributor. In his capacity, he leads distribution and release strategies for his robust client portfolio, such as Flavor, Shatawale, Ricardo Banks, Simi, Runtown, Fino, Messi Chinwo, and many more. Thank you all, and please welcome Ernest to the panel. Thank you also so much for being here. It's truly an honor to be able to speak with each and every one of you. I'm hoping that this conversation is something that we can take a lot from, and at the end of the day, we all go home full and ready to explode with ideas on how to move things forward. So the first part of the conversation, we're just going to the first question I'll throw to everybody. So we just get your thoughts. My first question is, what is your opinion about music downloading? So I think I'll start with Patrick, and then when you answer, you can pass it to the next person.
Okay, I think downloading of music has always been a consumer behavior. Like, that's always been a music consumer behavior, right from the times of not just okay to exclusive 360 knobs. That's always been our thing. So having to utilize or harness this existing behavior of music lovers to make sure that the creators who are the musicians get this content monetized. That's where we're headed. So that's always been a behavior. It's never going extinct or listen, but putting it together and making sure that, okay, fine, they would download and the artists will get their money. It's where we're headed, basically.
Okay, Ernest.
Okay, so in terms of music downloading, I would say music downloading sort of kicked off the digital music evolution in the music industry. So as we know before then, what used to be the way through which people consume music was physical copy, that was through CDs. Music downloading sort of kicked off a new way through which people consume music and through which artists and labels, sort of connect with their audience. I would say the peak for music downloading was like towards the mid 2000s. So that was where we sort of experienced success. I think globally, data showed that the estimated revenue generated from music downloading globally was, I think, about $3.8. That was around 2012. But right now, I would say that number has sort of declined. I think IFPI sort of put up their new global report recently showing that music streaming sort of had over 67% revenue generation in terms of like global consumption, while download had about 3.8. So which is I would say it's a significant drop from what it used to be. However, this figure is just a global figure. When it comes to sub-Saharan Africa or Africa as a whole, I would say the reality is sort of different. Looking at factors like low poverty rates, low internet penetration, and other factors that sort of prevents people from, embracing the music streaming culture. So music download is still going to be a big deal in Africa. And just as um, the representative from Ndundu introduced earlier, how she showcased the numbers, generated from Ndundu, which is about 34 million monthly users. So that's a big deal. While streaming is being embraced right now, download still has a target. Music download still has a market, and I think it's here to stay for a while. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Ricky.
Okay, yeah. So for me personally, and for the purposes of this conversation, I like to have, or I like to define, or I like to look at this music downloading from the legal or ethical point of view, so that when anyone is listening to us, they won't feel like we are just discussing music downloading from what we know of the past. But for the purposes of this, I always want to approach or address this, that, music downloading generally, when approached legally and ethically, is going to be very beneficial for, both consumers and then creators, which are mainly the artists, because clearly we know, especially within this part of the continent, which is Africa, internet accessibility is not to the standards that we expect. So for every consumer, they would enjoy that offline access or offline accessibility. So obviously, if it is structured right, which is legal and being done in the ethical way, consumers obviously are going to be downloading music and still knowing that they are consuming music and consuming it in the right way or in the most efficient or beneficial way. The artist, on the other hand, I've always said, for me, there's no holding back to various means of revenue for any artist. So if music download is going to be another stream of income for an artist, that's a good, a good call. And that's why I consistently say that once it is being done ethically or legally, it's going to benefit these artists, because we got to an era, I don't know how vocal the artists were back then, but my colleagues here in Ghana would bear me witness how artists consistently began to shy away or to prevent artists from downloading their music. And by rather advocating for go stream my music on Apple Music, go stream my music here, go stream my music. They were big on that. They were advocating for streaming of music, which created a particular impression of music download. But we know what Ndundo is doing now. We know what several other platforms, have also done before with downloads. It is not a bad thing once it is done right, which is eventually also going to bring a certain level of, revenue to these artists for me. So for me, generally, in terms of my understanding or in terms of my opinion about music downloads, and for the purposes of this, I think when done legally and ethically right, is going to be the next big thing, for the music industry at large.
Okay, thank you. I think that it makes sense for
Can you hear me?
Hello,
can you hear?
Can you hear me?
Yeah,
Okay.
okay.
I don't know why my internet is acting that way, because the moment you mention my name, it just goes off. Anyway, Ricky took the words right out of my mouth, because when it comes to downloads, we still have a very large market for downloads, especially in Africa, considering the fact that we consider the poverty rate, the internet access to um, banks, bank accounts, and all that to pay for streaming services. Download is still the widest, the largest market we can have here if we do it right. As they've already said, downloading is technically not wrong. Downloading is not wrong. It's just been a problem for us down here because some people have taken advantage of it. But technically, downloading music is never wrong. It's just transferring music digitally to yourself and listening to it. So basically, I agree with everything they've said, and this is just a little I can add.
Okay, thank you. So basically, just short summary of what everybody has said. Downloading of music, first of all, is not illegal, and it was the beginning of the digital consumption of music. Because we began from seeing the physical CDs, we all know in Nigeria, we all know Alaba markets, you're going through traffic, you buy somebody's CD, etc., etc. When you want to promote, you know that you have to settle certain people in Alaba market, and they made so much money from that. And then the era of internet came, and then we now started getting introduced gradually into streaming music. So it started from physical copies to downloading to streaming. And because there was no legal framework around downloading, the perception of it being an illegal thing to do spread wider than we could control. So now this conversation is to reel it in a little bit and say that it is okay to download music if it's done the legal way. So I think my next question is going to go to Ernest, where I'm going to ask, what are the various types of music monetization models that you have come across during your time?
Okay, there are currently different monetization opportunities in monetizing music, if I'm allowed to put it in that way. I think one model should be the freemium model. I think that is what platforms like Udun do, and also platforms like AudioMark and Boomplay are currently on, where where users get free access to the platforms, but the kind of access they have is a controlled access. They don't have access to the entire features that may be available to them, except they are upgraded into a premium tier category. So freemium, for freemium, the way music is being monetized in the freemium model is through ad being placed on their music. So when people listen to their music, ads are placed on their song, and the artist is paid based on the number of impressions, that the ad has been served on their music. So it is very much, this model is still very widely used, across different products, even outside of music. Other models would also include subscription-based models, where you pay for a monthly subscription, and you have access to, the entire features, that is available. So when it comes to music, when it comes to like the music ecosystem, platforms that use the subscription-based model is platforms like Apple Music, where you have access to unlimited listening time. Even the audio quality is higher than when it's on a freemium model. You also have other access to exclusive content. That's what a subscription-based model sort of gives you, right? So these are like the two major models, that are available out there. Each has its own advantages. Each has its own disadvantage. But at the end of the day, these models are leveraged to drive revenues opportunity for the artist.
Okay, thank you. Amanda, do you want to chip in a little bit on that? Do you have anything to add to that? He has given us two types already. He has said we have the freemium and then we have the subscription based.
Yeah.
And then he also mentioned that we have, advantages and disadvantages. But just off the top of your head, can you just give us, even if it's one advantage or one disadvantage, just give us of either models?
I think personally, I would say obviously the advantage of the free model is that you're going to have a lot of users because people want things that, I don't say things that are free, but things that are very accessible to them, things that they can get without having to struggle for anything. But like you said, most times when you're dealing with that, the quality might be a bit lower than it would be for subscription based. But I'm always of the opinion that if you're going to go for subscription based, which you've noticed with almost all platforms, they also provide the free part of things for those and probably just add to it. And then there's still the subscription based part of it. Do you get? So those are for me, I would say those are the two major parts of is streaming and downloading at the end of the day. Do you get? So most of free things could also be streaming, it could be downloading, and most of subscription based are streaming networks.
Okay. I think my next question would be for Patrick, because when I was reading his bio, I saw through it that, he's somebody that, um, studies behavioral pattern in order to shape his marketing strategies. So my next question would be, how do you think we can reshape the perception of music downloading from one associated with piracy to, an organized and legitimate means of accessing monetized music?
Yeah. Okay. So basically, when you like check out the from the piracy in terms of having an unmonetized access to music, you see that they are people who do not have access or who cannot afford the access to like monetized platforms. So one of the ways you can shape that perception is by giving them access. So I think back then, what some platforms did when they came and tried to like, tap into the grassroots, who are majorly the people who consume unmonetized music, they try to make sure that these apps were available on the phones, the type of phones they had access to. So then you had like people techno partnering with people like Boomplay and making sure that, at that point you were having Boomplay present in every techno phone. Because I mean, somebody that buys an Apple phone, I mean, it's not far from subscribing to Apple Music or using freemium services on Spotify or premium services on Spotify. So what they try to do is give these people access. Do you understand? And when you give them access, you enlighten them enlighten them about the advantages of having music at their tips. So, for example, you try to download music, you go from one site to another, or you get music by sharing, peer-to-peer sharing, because those are like the models they used to like get music on their phone. So imagine you having access to this music with little or no data consumption. Do you understand? Imagine having access to this same music without occupying the entire storage of your device. Because when you download music, I mean, for every every file you put on your phone is occupying space. But imagine having access to a platform where you don't need to occupy space on your phone that much to have access to music. Another thing is, try to integrate this platform with existing sources of unmonetized music. So where do these guys go to download music from? They go to the likes of Not Just Okay, Too Exclusive, 360 Knob. So imagine integrating that into those websites. That's another way of reshaping it. also enlightening the artists, because most time many artists, they have access to, like, DSPs and the rest, but they sit there that, oh, I want to put my music on, not just, okay, please make it downloadable. The artists, because in their head they feel that there are those there's a large percentage of music consumers who cannot afford to pay for music, and they know that, okay, fine, these guys might not bring you money, but they bring you the fame. If your songs blows on the street, you might not make money from the street, but they bring you the clout and they bring you the fame. So they try to, like, oh no, put our music out there for free. So imagine enlightening those people to, like, oh, fine, instead of sending your file as music to this platform, why not send a downloadable link from Indodo? So did I get it right, please? I always make a mistake pronouncing that name. So did I get Indodo? I don't know.
Can't be silent.
Yeah, so imagine giving them, integrating that with those websites where these people go to source out their music from. Because trust me, there's a big market. If you go to the Northerners, they don't download, they don't stream music, they don't pay for Apple Music. So you go to those areas where they occupy. The elites will do that. You go to the areas where people just want quick access to music without paying for it. So once you give them good access with enlightenment, both the artists, both the source, and both the consumers, then that's a bigger step to reshaping their perception about music download.
Thank you very much. You touched on 3 different things that I'll just highlight. Integrate with the sources of unmonetized music, enlightening artists, and giving easy access. I saw Ernest's hand, Ricky's hand up. I don't know, did you want to add to that?
Oh, I think I was checking that, but let me add to that. I was trying to check the participant, but let me just add to that. Yeah, my brother Patrick is right. One also key thing that we need to be intentional about, with regards to shaping the perceptions from the content rights owners, and I mean those who are actually at the forefront, which is the artists and the labels. We need to be intentional about making music downloading cool, because like I told you, now people find it very, very cool and very fun to say, oh, I'm streaming on Apple Music, I'm streaming on Spotify, I'm streaming here, because the artists themselves, the labels themselves, who are actually the content owners and more like the stars of the show, are advocating for that. So let's imagine if Wizkid, Davido, Sarkodie, anyone else across the world is now engaging artists, engaging their fans about how important it is for them to also go download their music, because in as much as you're streaming, download is also another model which is going to help me earn more. It's now going to actually get more people to want to be involved, because as it stands now, not too many of the artists or not too many of the frontliners are helping to shape the perception of music downloads. So one of the key things that I think we need to be intentional about is to get the frontline, actors to also be involved. They need to see the value of what downloading music will bring to them. And then by extension, they will feel, or they will actually advocate for it to be cool, because we all know someone wants to be on Instagram because it's cool to be on Instagram now. Someone wants to be on Twitter because it's cool. Sometimes they are not even too active there, but they want Amanda to call them and say, hey, can you give me your Twitter handle? And I'll say, yes, I have a Twitter handle. Can you give me your Snap handle? And I'll actually give you my Snap handle, because it has been made cool. So for me, I think one of the key things that we need to be intentional about is to get these frontliners, or have a proper or intentional marketing approach to music download that will make it look cool, and for me, once it becomes a part of the music culture, everybody else is going to find the need to easily jump on these streaming platforms. Last to say, I remember back then even up until now, even though streaming or internet is not, it's still expensive within this part of town, because these artists are all saying, go check out my music here, go check out my music here, go check out. I don't even remember the last time people around me would play a song to me on their phone, like I mean from their library, you know, and from their local library, because they feel it's old school, you know. So why? Because there's something we call publicly held perception, and that is why if I defame you, you would want to come out to respond, because you don't want that information that I've put out to become a publicly held perception, you know. And that is what we need to fight. We actually need to fight against that publicly held perception that music download is not legal, music download is taking money away from the artist and all of that. So for me, to help the perception part of it is to try and make sure that every stakeholder, especially the frontliners, to help spearhead the impression or the perception that we want to change. Thank you.
Thank you. Patrick, you have your hand up.
Yeah, I was going to add to that, you know. One thing you should understand about artists, there's always one way to get them involved in anything: the money. So, for example, when an artist receives this revenue report at the end of the day, and you're seeing Apple Music, more money, Spotify, more money. As it goes down, Boomplay, less money, YouTube, less money. They will always promote the platform that is bringing them more money. So the first strategy starts with the platforms themselves. How? You know your platform. You know, okay, the monetizing, what's it called? The monetizing option for your platform is music download. You pay for music, you know, or freemium on your platform. The first thing to do is harness the market that would consume or utilize your platform. When you harness the market properly, the revenue generated by artists on that platform will increase. Artists love money. In short, the moment the money from that platform increases, on their link, on their what's it called, link in the bio and all those things. By the time they put out their fan link, you will see your platform on 1, 2, 3 of that link, of that fan link. So it's about the money. Artists move where the money is. So if the audience, if the market for this platform is harnessed properly, and the artist revenue on that platform increases, automatically they will market the platform.
Okay, I really, really like that angle. So basically what we've added to this is make music downloading cool again. That should be the next campaign for Ndundo. No, I'm being very serious. Like, you know, the way Trump was shouting, "Make America Great Again." Let's do that. Make music downloading cool again. Let it become a cool thing. Because like he said, like actually Ricky was very right. If you make it a thing where the cool kids are downloading music, they're not just streaming. Cool kids are downloading. Somebody with an iPhone is downloading music. I know we always have space problems, but somebody with an iPhone is downloading music. Then it becomes a thing of, oh, okay, it's actually not a bad idea to download music. Because a lot of times I found myself in places, unfortunately, where your network is not working, but you want to listen to something, like you're on a road trip and your network is tripping, going in and out, and you're listening to a song and the thing just cuts and it ruins your mood and like all that, you know, just market it in a way that is more appealing to them. And like Patrick said, artists will naturally gravitate to where the money is coming from. If the money is coming from Ndundo, I'm at Ndundo. I'm doing videos with Ndundo. I'm doing collaboration posts with Ndundo. I'm saying, oh, hey, my new single is out on blah blah blah. Go and download it on Ndundo. Because a lot of times we have that conversation also separately about tech companies where they come and say, oh, we're trying to solve a transfer problem, and then the problem they're trying to solve it only exists on smartphones. Meanwhile, 80% of the population is using touchlight phone. So let's, you know, structure our minds in a way that we actually act the way the reality is on ground, which is that people are not boxed up. People don't have money and they can't afford these things. So if we think about it in that way and just put all these things together, we'll definitely, oh my God, I'm not talking like one of the Question: what are the potential benefits as a complement to streaming services in monetizing an artist catalog? This one I will give to Antoinette. So I'll repeat the question again. What are the potential benefits of embracing music downloading as a complement to streaming services in monetizing an artist catalog?
Okay, so I will speak on what Patrick just spoke on, the money. First and foremost, the money. Supplementing streaming revenue with download revenue is just increasing the revenue of the artist. To get it. So once we are able to, as he said, harness the fans, get people to download more music of the artists, they get more money in addition to the money they get from streaming. That's number one. And number two, it increases their brand value because as we've already stated, a lot of Africans are into downloading because of basically poverty and access to the internet. So we have a lot of people already downloading. They just don't get the ethical means of downloading them. And we have platforms like Ndundo coming in. If we get more people to download through Ndundo, the artist gets a wider reach and it increases their brand value. It even goes ahead to help them in the revenue they get from live performances because as they get more fans listening to their music, they get a larger audience to perform to and they get more money. So basically, I think these two are what I would want to speak on. The fact that the downloading will increase their revenue and also their brand value.
Okay, Ernest, do you want to add to that?
Yeah, so in the aspect of diversifying revenues for artists, I'll just take us back to a recent interview with one of the media platforms where the MD of Spotify Sub-Saharan Africa stressed how Sub-Saharan Africa is the highest growing music market in the world. I think last year, Sub-Saharan Africa grew by 34%. Now, yes, it's the numbers are there. You know, it shows that there is traction. It shows that there's an opportunity here in Sub-Saharan Africa. But actually, how does this translate to monetary value? She also stressed that when it comes to revenue generation, she used, I think, Belgium or Chile, one of those European countries, generates as much more revenue more than the entire Africa. So this is just one country that has a population of about 17 to 20 million, generates more money than, let's take, for example, Nigeria that has over 100 million people, you know. So now I think this is due to our currency. You know, there's a decline in our currency, right? So in terms of how much people pay to subscribe to music in this part of the world is quite low as compared to the other regions. So that means that with this kind of challenge that is prevalent in in this part of the world, there is need to even embrace other source of revenue, and that is where music download comes in. So definitely, like Antoinette said, people who don't have access to internet or who don't have also the financial power to subscribe to a a music streaming platform have alternatives to download music. So, and funny enough, I think that is a major part of our population. I think people that can afford internet, because when you think about it, to consume music via streaming platform, what you have to subscribe, you have to pay your monthly subscription, and you also have to have like an active data, you know, to be able to stream that music. You know, a lot of people do not have this luxury. You know, it's a luxury. A lot of people don't have it in Nigeria. And I would say the number of people that have that luxury is about maybe 2% to 3% of our population. So there's a market to tap into, you know, when it comes to music download. So I feel labels, artists needs to also open their minds, you know, and see the opportunity, you know, that is available when it comes to music streaming. Another aspect that I feel should be touched on in terms of the benefits is the data that is also available. Take, for example, with us working with Unundu, we're able to see where our catalog is being consumed. We're able to monitor the listening pattern or the listening habits of the artists that we represent. You know, I think that also gives you like an additional um, an additional level of insight into where your music is being consumed, into the trends, you know, so that you can also optimize your marketing efforts. You can also know what kind of content appeals to this market segment, you know, and you're able to leverage the data to, you know, make more money. So I think one thing that artists, labels, and general the music stakeholders should also look at is the data that is available for them, you know, on this platform to be able to make, you know, better business decisions.
Ricky, yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, so on the back of the insights my colleagues are sharing, I also see a very key benefit, which is higher revenue, you know, per play for platforms like download sites, because we don't know how much each stream gives you, you know, for the streaming platforms. But if the music download culture is able to properly find its feet, we know the revenue, you know, per download will be way higher, you know, because it comes with, you know, that offline, you know, that obviously Tammy keeps talking about, where you're on a road trip, you're traveling, and it gives you a certain level of assurance once once you've been able to download the song. That offline access that it gives you is assured. So obviously you are going to have a higher revenue per download, you know, for these ones. And then also what I see is some level of, long term, some level of creative control. Because let's say I'm a big artist, Amanda is also a big artist. We both collaborate to record a song. Everybody's anticipating, everybody's looking forward to it. And we want to put it on Ndundo, because we know that these two artists are big enough. We can decide that, okay, instead of the usual paying $1 per download, because this collaboration is huge enough and people have a lot more interest in that particular song, I can choose to say, okay, me as the artist, myself as the artist, or all the parties involved can decide that, okay, for this particular one, and looking at how high the demand is, we can up the stake, and we will have that creative control in that regard. And you can actually even control how much you want to place on which product. So if I'm investing in a collaboration that features Daniel, who I know is going to bring me a lot more revenue, I could choose to say that, okay, for anyone who downloads this particular song, because I have Daniel on, who is a major artist in this, we want to charge $2 instead of the usual $1, because I have a major artist in there. So it gives the artists, the labels, a level of creative control in here, unlike the streaming platforms where a song featuring Berna and Michael Jackson and whoever come together is the same value. So for the download, for the music download platforms, I see major benefits that may slightly supersede the streaming platforms.
Okay, I think this kind of already answers the next question I wanted to ask, which is like, what are the potential synergies between music downloading and streaming platforms, and how can they coexist to maximize revenue and reach of artists? And I think the last point you just mentioned gives us a lot more insights that we actually, yeah, because like if you're saying I have creative control over how much it is I can make over a song, there's no way artists will not rush towards that. Again, it goes down to the money aspect of it. If I'm collaborating with Burna Boy and Wizkid and I want to sell my song for $5, there's no way, like if I have control over that, there's no way I'll not be excited and happy to do that. That will even lead to bigger collaborations, because it will now be a thing of, oh, if I collaborate with a big person, these are the numbers I'll get, this is the amount of money I can get. So you see bigger artists collaborating with each other, and we haven't had, a Wiz, Burna, and Ashake on one song before. But imagine if that is the case and that was possible, then everybody's like, oh, the pie is big enough for everybody to eat. So they'll come together and do all of that. So yeah, I think that kind of sort of answers my question. And but I have one more question for Antoinette, which is how do licensing agreements and copyright framework need to evolve to accommodate the growing acceptance and integration of music downloading in the industry? So I'll take the question again. Copyright works need to music downloading.
I mean, I'll use Ghana as an example because that's where I am. Basically, as far back as 2005, Ghana, we had a Copyright Act. And in the Copyright Act, there are specific sections that deal with piracy. That's basically using someone's copyright without their consent or without a license. So with our law, if maybe there is a website that is illegally allowing illegal downloads of the works of maybe artists and record labels, you have the right to report the person. You have the right to report the owner of the website and all that. But even there is another section in our act which states that if it's a company or even a partnership, all the directors are liable. All the partners in the partnership are also liable. And they have civil remedies and criminal actions too. So I think with our laws, it's very stringent on copyright infringement. I don't know about most other jurisdictions, but with our laws, it's very stringent on copyright, protection of copyright. So what we need are more stringent laws and with the enforcement. Do you understand? That's why I like the fact that we have legal websites that allow legal downloads, so that the artists will be more empowered to take action against these websites that allow illegal downloads of their works. So what we can do now is that with everything we have discussed today, if it's actually enforced and the artists see actual money coming out of legal downloads of their work, they can join forces. We can all join forces with the artists, the stakeholders of the industry, to go after all these people who allow illegal downloads on their websites. Thank you. That's
Okay, thank you very much. I took two things from that: more stringent laws and enforcement of those laws when they're put in place. Obviously, we do not know the timelines, when making laws. It takes years, it takes months, to get things done, especially in Africa, where 90% of the time we're like 15 years behind on certain things. But since we've started having the conversations now, and we're gearing towards educating artists, educating labels, educating the cool kids, educating people who do not have access to streaming platforms, and saying that, okay, it's legal. I think that when that force begins to get, heavier and the noise becomes louder, we can now advocate and sit with, lawmakers and say, okay, this is something that the music industry is gravitating towards. And I think that it's time for us to pay attention and legalize, and have these laws. So let's take a couple of minutes to just speak with the audience. I'm seeing a couple of comments that were written while we're having the conversation. So someone says, to me, music downloading comes in two ways. If it's legal with the concern of the artist and also generate royalties for the artist, then it's the right thing. But we've seen a lot of downloadable sites uploading artist music illegally and making money from them without the concern or artist making anything. I believe that what Ndundo is doing should be encouraged, but the education has to go down well for the artist to understand. So I really appreciate this comment. So in the next segment of what we're going to do, we'll have Daniel come and licensing manager Ghana for Ndundo to come and tell us a little bit of what Ndundo is doing and what they're doing to educate people about their services. The next comment was, we also have the Superfan module. I think this is probably when we're talking about monetization models. We'll also have the Superfan module, which allows artists to sell their music directly to their fans without third-party permission. Platforms, even is offering such services, and I pray that we get a platform like that in Africa by an African. Yeah, this is an amazing one also, because I think I saw an article about an artist who has created a platform to completely remove the middleman. So now the artist sells his music, released or unreleased, directly to his fans. And I was so excited for that. And I want to see how that is going to go with the majors, because, once something like that comes out, the majors are ready with their guns to shoot it down. So I want to see how that battle happens in the next couple of years and see how far we can go with it. We have another comment, but won't downloading be a one-time payment and streaming is on and on? So that's why we're talking about the possibilities of those two things coexisting. So the downloading is available for people who can afford to and who want to, and then the streaming platforms will also be available. So discussing this doesn't necessarily eliminate the existence of the other one. They can coexist. Those are multiple ways in which basically artists can make money from their intellectual property. So it doesn't necessarily mean that streaming is going to go away. It just means that we're trying to, again, my hashtag, make downloading music cool again. So that's what this conversation is about. So I'm going to leave the floor open for Daniel, who is the Ndundo Rep Licensing Manager for Ghana, to come and give us a breakdown of Ndundo services and the performance in Nigeria and Ghana so far, and basically answer the question, in what ways can music downloading be integrated into existing business models to create additional revenue streams for artists and rights holders? So please, Daniel, you have the floor. Thank you so much for joining us.
All right. Thank you, Tammy. Thank you guys for having me. Ricky, why are you laughing? Yes, so I mean, for the services that we provide as Ndundo, we provide similar services just like the streaming services that we already have. Like you guys have all said, we are not a competing module to streaming. We are more like a complementary services to what the streaming services are already providing. So, I mean, you guys, like you've said it, when it comes to the narrative that we need to build around our services to make it look cool enough for, I mean, for the new generation of music consumers to jump on our service, so that they become cool enough for the artists to go out and talk about the brand and the services that we provide. So one of the services we do provide is playlisting. We offer playlisting just like the streaming services. So we playlist the music in numerous playlists, which our creation teams handle. We have creation teams across West Africa and East Africa. So we are able to spread the creation across all this region to maximize the reach of the content that we get, to be able to maximize the revenue generation too as well. Our premium service that we provide is what we call the DJ mixes. So we have partnership with some top DJs in Ghana, Nigeria, Kenya, Tanzania, Uganda, and even South Africa, where they create DJ mixes with music licensed on our service. So the music in the mixes needs to be licensed on our service so that we can monitor in terms of the reach and pay the royalties on all these music rights that we use in our service in the mixes. And the mixes are being promoted through our telco partners. In Ghana, we have a partnership with MTN. I know that we are about to roll on Airtel Tigo. In Nigeria too, I know it's MTN. I think in Uganda it's Vodacom. SA2 is Vodacom. I think Kenya is Safaricom. So with our telco partners, we are able to spread the reach of these DJ mixes where our users can subscribe to this service and get daily mixes from all our DJ partners across Africa. That plus we have what we call the widget campaign. I think I heard one of the panelists mention about how best can we, collaborate with some of these other platforms that are already pushing music download and see how best we can work with them in terms of partnership. So we have partnership with blogs across Africa. Ghana, we have some blogs. We work with Nigeria. I think it's Trending Beats, where we embed the Ndundo links and all these platforms where users can go and have access to this music, and at the end of the day, it's still licensed music where royalties is generating from the ad revenues on it. So, these are the modules that we use to promote. These are the services that we provide as Ndundo, the playlisting, the DJ mixes, and our widget campaign that we use in the maximizations of all the prioritizations of the content that we get from our CPs or our content partners. So yeah, that's it. And to answer the question about how best can music download be embedded to existing business model to increase, to generate additional revenue for artists. Like I did mention earlier, the widget campaign is one of them where, the music download blogs are already existing, but then how then do we work with them and still generate revenue for the artists as well? So like I said, we have partnership where we pay these blogs to embed our links to be, so that they can push it to their users or their consumers, so that the consumers can legally download from our side. The telco partnership is one of them. We have a module where when you subscribe or when you buy like a data bundle, it comes with the DJ mixes. So those are how we've been able to embed our services to increase the revenue generation for the content that we get. Yes.
I think I really like that last one. When
Yeah.
I buy a data package, I get DJ mixes. That's really dope. Patrick has a question, I think.
Right.
Okay, yeah. When you talked about the blogs, and I don't know if you can hear me. Yes. When you talked about the blogs and paying the blogs to embed music. So my question is, how sustainable is that? If you're paying the blogs to embed music, are you paying the blogs based on monthly, yearly, or is a situation where there's a kind of referral business model where a blog becomes a partner to Dundo?
Yeah.
In such a way that because of their partners, they can generate a custom embed link, and whenever somebody goes on their site to stream or to download music, whatever revenue is being generated via that act of downloading music through that site, they get certain percentage. So it's like a continuous relationship rather than, we'll keep paying you for a while and probably when we get tired of the partnership, we'll stop. So I don't know if you understand what I'm saying.
Yeah, I get you perfectly. We look at the user traffic that these blogs generate within a certain period, right? So you do understand that some of these blogs might have like a very high user traffic in a certain quarter, and a certain quarter their user traffic drops. So in terms of that model, there's a bit of disadvantage in that because you might be paying or you might be giving out a ratio of the royalty to someone who's not really giving you much value in terms of traffic. So all the time, our product team do product evaluation of all these blogs that we work with and see the one that is still giving us that value so that we continue the partnership. So that is why we have the system where it is based on content releases. So when a high priority release comes out, we know we need to maximize this release enough. So then we reach out to these blogs and tell them, we want you to embed these links. So we sent a particular link to them for them to embed so that it can spread across wherever they have access to. Yes. Right.
Okay, Patrick, does that answer your question? Okay. I think we'll just go into the second part of the question that sort of just ties all the conversations we've been having together. So I think I'll just ask, Amanda, did you have a question?
There was a question I saw in the Q&A part. So I know definitely we're still going to come back to it at the end, but since we are giving a bit of time for the audience to interact with us, I just felt like we could cover those both questions. So the first question I can see is, does Ndundo conflict in any way with Amuse music distribution? Then the second question is for Daniel. Kindly go over the widget campaign again. So I'll just take the first one. I don't think we conflict with any music distribution channel because particularly the license we go for is non-exclusive license. So if you're asking if we conflict as to business model, I don't know what Amuse music distribution music model is, but if you're talking about in terms of artists giving out their content, whether there's any conflicting interest there, except if the distribution company you mentioned is operating on exclusivity. If that's not the case, there's no issue. We can still work with whoever is already working with Amuse because we are going for non-exclusive license. So you can have your content on our platform and have it on any other platform. I'll allow Daniel to go through the second question, which is going over the widget campaign again. So just go through it briefly and then we can move on.
So the widget campaign is a partnership with top blogs across Africa. So we work with about 10 influential blogs. I mean, I wish I had the names here, but Trending Beat is one of them. Ghana, we work with Enyom Pafie as one of them. I mean, there are various ones I cannot mention. So what we do is that when we have like a top priority release coming, let's say Amrado is dropping a new song, the management will reach out to us, talk to us about the new song. Then we talk to our blogs about the new song coming. So when we have the song uploaded on our service, on our platform, then we take that download link and we send it to our partnership, our blog partners, and they embed it on the homepage of their website. So anytime someone visits their website, that will be the first content they are going to see. And when they click download, the download comes directly from Ndundo. So that means it generates revenue from our backend. So that's how our widget campaign works.
I have a follow-up question. If it's not a high priority release, can artists who are smaller, pay for that service?
It's not a paid service, but then we need to understand the marketing value that you are also bringing in terms of when you're not like a top priority artist. At the end of the day, because we are committing a lot of resources for this kind of campaign. So we also need to know that at the back end, this artist is also bringing us enough value in terms of download traffic. So if you don't have that download traffic now, what kind of marketing value are you doing for the releases? What kind of influencer campaigns are you doing? What kind of social media campaign are you doing? So we look at all that and say that, okay, then based on all these activities that you are doing, we can also help you with this amplification model. So you just need to go out and also speak about the service that we have also provided us. So it's all based on value exchange. Yeah.
So
Okay.
to add to what Daniel said, it's either a high priority release or it's an actually good song. It's a good song. It's a song that probably is already trending. We've seen small artists trend TikTok and everywhere. So like he said, it has a marketing value, something that when you put on there, it's not going to it will have a ripple effect immediately on that particular song.
Right.
Okay, thank you. Do you have anything else to add, Daniel? So we round up and then move to the next section, or are we good?
Nothing else from my side. Yeah.
Okay, thank you so much. Thank you very much for that short educational, part of the Indundo platform. Thank you so much. So for us to tie the conversation together, we'll just take like 3 or 4 questions and then we'll go to the Q&A. So back to the panelists. My first question will be, what steps can be taken to foster a culture of respect for artists' intellectual property rights while promoting the accessibility and affordability of music through downloading platforms? So I think I'll go with Ricky first for this question. And should I take the question again?
Yes, I think my mic was off. Yeah.
Okay. What steps can be taken to foster a culture of respect for artists' intellectual property rights while promoting the accessibility and affordability of music through downloading platforms?
Okay, so one of the key steps, which I think we should strongly consider, is transparency in pricing. A lot of the artists have a huge misunderstanding or wrong impression of how monies are being taken away from them. And that's a clear example is why you said you were excited about an artist deciding to start his own platform, where he wants to directly sell his music to their fan. Just like the CD era and the cassette era. Promoters and distributors felt very safe because they felt like if I'm selling the tape at X amount to the fan, I'm getting 95% of my money's back. In this case, that transparency doesn't exist. And so it is quite of a challenge. So for me, some of the key steps that need to be taken should be transparency in the pricing. So I don't know how, but obviously maybe workshops or proper, campaigns that will make back-end information on anything that will actually expose or give proper transparency, in the pricing of the services that artists are being given would be very beneficial. Another thing too, I think we should also look at is pricing, affordable pricing. I was speaking earlier about how important or how much how much more artists will be making from downloads as compared to streaming. So if we're able to develop a model whereby that, okay, if today being a weekend, there's a special package for someone who wants to download as many as 100 songs for that road trip that Tammy wants to take, then there's going to be a special package that you're going to get for downloading as many songs within a particular period. Or yes, like maybe a bulk, if you are downloading bulk, content, there's going to be a certain offer that you're going to get. I think those steps are actually going to help, to protect these artists.
Okay, Ernest, do you have anything to add?
Well, I think Ricky has, sort of hit the nail on the head. But what I can add to that is more like creating like an artist-centric approach. Because at the end of the day, I think for artists, they want to be seen and they want to be heard. So if the platforms can also create opportunities, but I liked what Daniel has mentioned, spotlighting some of the things Udundo is doing to amplify the music of artists on their platform. But then we need to see more opportunities, that is available, not just even for established artists, but for emerging artists as well. Such opportunities that sort of encourage artist development on their platform, that will help them to reach more audience, that will help them grow their numbers, both whatever support that is that can be tapped into, both whether it's in platform or offline activations, initiatives that can help push or that are geared towards increasing visibility, and reach for the artist on the platform. I think these steps would, sort of change the narrative.
Patrick, you can go.
Okay, I was going to highlight on a part of the question where it says foster a culture of respect for artists' intellectual property rights. I mean, that's a generic problem in Africa. It's a generic problem. I mean, I don't think it's something the artists can even do by themselves. I think it's something, a partnership between like what's it called, Association of Music Lawyers and government policies can, put together, because in Nigeria we do not respect, even in Africa we do not respect intellectual property rights. Do you understand? From it doesn't have to do with just music, movies, photography, content generally. People don't understand that, oh, because it's a digital, people don't respect the idea of a digital content. They don't see what is being digitized as an asset. Do you understand? I could buy a house and you know that, oh, you cannot step into my house because you can see it as a physical asset. But oh, you cannot use my music anyhow. People don't respect that idea of, this is my music, this is my photography, this is my what's it called? This is my movie. You see people push a lot of things through Telegram, TikTok. You just cut and drop, utilize, no clearance, no respect general. So I think it's a culture that has to not just come from, oh, the artist, because the artists, all they can do is to create. You understand? They don't have that power, that full power to protect their rights. So I think it's like a total different discussion, a total different action that cuts across not just music, but generally entertainment and content creation, basically.
Okay, so I'm going to follow up with a question for you still, and say, how do we show people that downloading music isn't just getting songs, but also building a connection with the artist they love? And I'll add vice versa to that, because it's also necessary for the artist to understand the importance of that also.
For me, I think everything comes from the artist. When it comes to like engaging and feeling connected to an artist, it comes from an artist's social capacity. Do you understand? When people interact with you on Instagram, how you make them feel close to you. So the same behavioral pattern has to be taken to streaming platforms. Do you understand? When people download your music, how do you make them feel downloading your music? Are there extra benefit of downloading your music? Are there things you could do to partner with like musical platforms to like, oh, because you downloaded this song, you have access to this, because you're trying to make this fans feel connected to you, that, oh, it's not just that I downloaded music and started playing. Do you understand? I downloaded this music and I'm supporting this artist. And the fact that we're downloading this artist feels, connected, that you downloaded. Like maybe like from Spotify, there's something where you could appreciate fans at the end of the year on Spotify, where you create like a 30 seconds or 15 seconds video appreciating fans. So things like that, the artists don't want to just, the fans don't want to feel like, oh, I just went to download your music, there's no connection. So the platforms could create that social engagement capacity within the app to make the fans feel connected to the artist.
Yeah. Let me also add. Yeah, I think Patrick is right. I think most of the times, we celebrate the artist when they achieve a milestone. There's not really been an intentional activity for platforms to wholly just as they go out for the artist to celebrate them when they get 100 million streams, when they get this and that. I haven't seen that. Maybe I'm not looking wide enough, but I haven't seen any platform being intentional about, acknowledging or rewarding the fans. So I think this can be, there can be a strategy whereby we'll keep an eye, a key, focus on, okay, who is that particular fan who is streaming or actually consuming a lot more of a Davido song, where we can be intentional about connecting that particular artist and Davido together, that particular artist and his favorite act together, rather than always focusing, because I see we create the platforms, and even though it is the fans who actually make the platforms very profitable, we tend to focus more on showering everything on the artist and not the fans. So for that particular question where you're asking that, how can we show force? It's not just about downloading the music, but we actually also want to acknowledge or also want to reward you for being intentional about choosing to use a particular, platform or choosing to support a particular artist.
Yeah, I totally understand that, because we see it at the end of the year when there's Spotify Wrapped and everybody's so excited to post, oh my God, Davido's #1 fan and Burna Boy's #1 fan. All those things really motivate people and make people excited about being a part of a community. And it's almost as if the artist is telling them thank you and giving them a handshake for listening to their music. So yes, I'm really on board with that, for artists to show a little bit more appreciation to their fans, and not only when they have music to release, on cycle, off cycle, just make sure your fans know that you are there and you care about them. So I think this one is a general question for everybody that we'll just ask and then round up with questions afterwards. So the question is, what excites you about the future of music downloading on this continent? So we'll start with the Ndundo rep, Amanda. Not Daniel, Amanda. So yeah, let's start there. Amanda, please tell us what excites you about the future of music downloading on this continent.
I think one of the things that excites me the most about music downloading is the fact that there's a platform like Ndundo that is doing it from the legal standpoint, because music downloading has been around for the longest. And like I said, I don't think there's any of us, we can try to deny, but I think every one of us have downloaded music before. Do you get? So it's been something that's been around. That's the reason why Trendy Beats and all of these guys, no matter how many, for example, in the film side, on a daily basis, there's always takedown notice, there's always shutdown notice. No matter how much try to shut them down, they're always coming back up, because what? They have the numbers. So what excites me the most about this whole thing is that I feel like we're moving from points where music downloading is only attributed to piracy to a point where it's now legal and artists can monetize. Because even if it's not the guys that own this platform, you can literally go to YouTube and copy link from YouTube and go and convert it and download whatever you want to off YouTube channel. Do you get? And these guys don't make any extra money streaming, except if you're among the big 5 or the top artists that you're making good money from streaming. Streaming numbers or money is not that great. So it's beautiful to see at this time that downloading has been, NEPA has acted, that downloading has been included as one of the ways that you can monetize music catalog at this time, and in a very legal way. That's what excites me the most.
Thank you. Ernest?
Yeah, so what excites me the most is the fact that there is a platform that has been provided for both the artists to connect with, I would say, a mass market, that the streaming platforms will typically not reach due to some of the factors that we had highlighted earlier. And these market segment is very, very important. So it gives artists an opportunity to reach this this unique fan base. So which is more rich, more more ways for the audience to connect with their favorite artist, so just bridging the gap basically. So I think that's what excites me, and I'm happy to see where this can lead to.
Okay, Antoinette, do you want to add to that?
Well, basically, they've said everything. But what excites me the most is the fact that we are finding African solutions to African problems. Because illegal downloading has been a big problem for this continent for a while now. So if we are finding ways and means to make downloading legal and getting people on board, especially people who do not have access to bank accounts to be making subscribing to Apple Music and all those streaming sites, then I'm excited for it. So I hope it continues, and long may it continue. I hope we make giant strides with downloading of music in Africa. Yes.
Thank you. Thank you. Patrick. Patrick, your mic is off. You're on mute.
Yeah, I think one of the things I'm excited about is the fact that the impact that will come after harnessing this audience that consume unmonetized music via download. Why? Because when you look at Africa, Africa is one of the places where we have not fully harnessed the strength of our population. That's why a lot of artists try to do international features. They're trying to penetrate the global market because of as big as we are when it comes to population, it doesn't reflect in our views, our likes, our general music engagements. You can see the Asian market. They don't need America to flourish. So where we get to that point where this unaccounted audience, because as long as there's no channel through which they consume music, you can't even give data for them. You can't account for them. Do you understand? So where we get to that point where a bulk of these people are being harnessed and being pushed through a legal channel of music consumption, then it helps it helps the records, it helps our data. We feel the real impact of our population. I mean, we're maybe having like 100 million, 300 million views on YouTube, easy, with the kind of population we have. We see Indians benefit from it. We see China benefit from it. We see K-drama, K-pop benefit from these things. So do you understand? Where it will be so exciting because one, internal revenue generation, artists not depending on, global clout for them to succeed or sustain their brand and all. So, I mean, that's what I'm most excited for.
Thank you. I think Ricky is the only person who has spoken. Yeah, Ricky.
Well, I'm excited about new money. Obviously, I'm not an artist, but the artist, I'm speaking for the artist. This is, great news for artists. We all know streaming is not only the major source of revenue for artists. It's not even the best. Live performances are sync, licensing, endorsements and sponsorships, various other models, of revenue income for artists. And this actually also coming to be a part of it would excite these artists. So for me, the key word for me is new money. Music download now, if it is properly structured, properly set up, is going to be another new money for these artists. And then I think I don't know, someone rightly said that African problem, we should find African solutions for African problems. Because we all know we are all coming from different countries, and we can attest to it that what we know, the services that you get when you are out of Africa, when you are in Europe somewhere, the kind of internet service you get is way better than what we are getting now. And that is why streaming there is working and even more valuable. Because if you put out content in Ghana, the value of it is not even close to that same number of streams you get somewhere else across the world. Why? Because structures there and the models there work. Clearly, downloading is actually something that is common with us, that can actually aid us, that will drive our music more, because of I don't think anywhere within your country you're going to get constant internet service. That means that anywhere I find, or if I don't find myself within certain places, I may not be able to enjoy or listen to music at the level that I want to. And it's not right. Obviously, if we're able to structure music downloading right, it will serve Africans a lot more than streaming. For me, sitting down and doing a proper assessment or analysis, if the structure of music download is well put in place, it will serve a lot more Africans. And I know Africans will enjoy more of the downloading culture than the streaming culture, because not everybody enjoys that high level of internet accessibility.
All right. Thank you all so much. Thank you all so much for your contributions. This has been a very, very productive conversation. Trust me, it really has. But before we round up, I think most of the questions that I've seen here are directed towards the two Ndundo representatives we have in the house. So Daniel and Amanda, please, two of you would help me with these questions. How much percentage is given to the bloggers? Is it a fixed percentage? And what percentage does the artist get at the end of the month? I think this one is for Daniel with regards to embedding links in blogs.
There's no percentage given. I mean, there's an amount we pay, so I cannot put out the amount we pay out, but we don't give any percentage of the royalties to the blogs that we work with. That's for sure. So we pay an amount. And what in terms of royalty split, we split it 50-50 with our creative community. So the revenue that we generate from the ads revenue, we split it with our copyright holders that have licensed their content on our platform.
Okay, is it possible to share the blogs you partner with, or that's something that's also confidential information?
No, I can share. I can get my team I can get the list of blogs that we work with, and I'll share with you guys. Yeah.
Okay, all right. So the other question was, does Ndundo actively promote songs licensed with it?
Licensed with what?
With it on the platform, licensed on the platform. Do you actively promote those songs?
Yes, we do. Actively, we have in-app promotions, like I said, like with the playlisting. Then we have digital campaigns that we do to support the release. In terms of social media, we run ads for some of the top releases on social media too as well. Then I mentioned about the DJ mixes that we have the telco partnership with. So those are the assets that we use in promoting the content that are licensed on our service.
Okay. This question, aside Ndundo partner blog, will it take down all of the illegal websites that have my music when I license with Ndundo? I don't think so. Ndundo, the license is non-exclusive. So yeah, so they're not going to take down music from other sites. Your music can also be on other sites. Mandy can answer more about this.
So yeah, we it's not something we do expressly, but if you tell us that, okay, you're having this issue and you notice that your songs are on illegal sites, so we're not going to take down your songs from any site or anybody that you've given rights to license those content, but we're talking about illegal sites like all these trendy, let me stop calling particular people, but you know them, like those sites that don't have the right to have your content on it. If you tell us that you want us to handle that, that's part of services that we also do consider, or we do provide to artists taking down from illegal sites, so that anybody that wants to download can come to the legal downloading sites.
Okay. Is there an Ndundo app?
At the moment, no. We used to have an Android app, but at the moment, considering our target audience, or rather our users, we operate from the web page currently. We may have something in works, but at the moment, what's in use is a web page.
Okay. So does Ndundo pay monthly? If yes, is there a date range, like how YouTube ensures payments is made between the 21st and the 26th of each month?
I mean, with our royalty payout, we pay twice a year. So we pay the beginning of the year, that's every January. You can log into your dashboard and request for your royalty payout. So it's January and every July. That means every 6 months, we pay royalties. We are introducing the quarterly payouts, which we'll be rolling out in the next quarter. But for now, it's every 6 months we pay out royalties to the right holders.
Okay. Another question, does Ndundo pay directly to Ghana CD or dollar banks or bank accounts, or do we need a PayPal account to access?
I mean, like, you know, we are an African service, so the mobile wallet still works on Ndundo. So when you have like your Momo service, you can put in your Momo number and the money will be credited to your mobile money wallet. That's another, or if you want to send it to your bank account too, we can also do that too as well.
Okay. Amanda, for Nigeria, sorry.
Okay, so same thing for Nigeria. We pay to your local currency, Naira. If you set up from Nigeria, you'll be paid in Naira. But on the back end, your income is going to show in Ghana, in Kenyan shillings. Then when it's time for payment, we convert and we pay you in Naira. Also, to add to what Daniel said initially about the payouts and the quarterly thing. So yes, payout is 2 times in a year. While we're still working on the quarterly thing, at the moment, what we did is that at the end of each quarter, you can see how much you made at the back end for the previous quarter. Do you get? So we're still paying out every six months, but every three months at end of the quarter, you know what you're like projecting or what you're expecting at the payouts period. You will have not just your market share showing on your back end, you will see how much you've made in that quarter, but you're not collecting the money till the payouts period, which is either January or July.
Okay, so this one is a very corporate couple of questions. How long has Ndundo been in existence? Where is its general headquarters? Does it have a physical office in Ghana? And what's the legal company name?
Okay.
I mean, Amanda, take it away.
Ndundo has been around for the longest. Has been around for about 10-15 years, but headquarters is in Kenya. So like you might not have known, but Ndundo is a Swahili name. So the headquarters, it started from Kenya. That's where Ndundo came up from. Now in Ghana, we have the amazing Daniel in Ghana. Do we have a physical office? Daniel is our physical office in Ghana. So wherever he is where our office is. So you can always reach out to him if you need anything as regards licensing, or have any questions or have any issues or anything you want to attend to as regards to Ndundo, reach out to Daniel.
Okay, thank you. I have a question here. Before transfer of intellectual property ownership can happen between the artist and a corporate brand, when is the best time to discuss royalties or sharing formula with the organization? I'm into corporate brand songwriting, and most of the songs I've written for several companies, I notice when it goes viral, they either register the copyright of the song with national corporations without my consent or come back to ask for written consent. written consent form without any clear-cut specification of what the original production fee they pay me? Is there a way distribution platforms can vet companies who release viral company theme songs and make sure they upload or submit a document or form showing artist consent and royalty sharing formula if the name of the person registering the song copyright isn't in tandem with the name of the artist? So this is slightly corporate, slightly legal. So I'm going to give it to Mandy.
Let's give it to give it to Afi. Afi is the lawyer also on this panel.
No,
Um,
Mandy first. Then
okay. I
yes.
will take it, I'll answer it first from legal point before I tailor it down to platforms or distribution channels. So from legal point, you're supposed to discuss your royalty split, anything that has to do with royalties, transferring rights. Like you have to ensure that you discuss that before you even do the job. So the moment they're engaging for the job, there should be a contract where all of this is discussed. And if you're going to transfer your rights to them, how much royalties are you getting? Like you said, what does this production cost cover? Are they going to pay for any other person that is going to be involved in projects? Say, for example, you need to hire studios and all of that. Is that under your production cost? Like all those nitty-gritties, you have to ensure that all of that is sorted through your agreement before you start the job. Now, on the part of the distribution this in companies or on our own end now, in most situations, this is not me assuming, but in most situations where there's that, oh, we hired you to do a job and there's a contract, intellectual property is usually transferred to the person that hired the services. So most times the company that owns the record or you did the record for owns the masters or own the song. So when they are distributing it in their rights. Now, do we check the documentation before we accept such songs? I would say no. But then at the same time, there's terms of use where the person is agreeing to us and indemnifying us and telling us for a fact, oh, we own the song. Now, what happens with all distribution channels and our own is if you find out that your song is on this platform, you didn't give the person the right to maybe distribute your songs or you didn't transfer rights to the person, you're still the sole owner of your song or the owner of the song. You can always reach out to any platform. Ours, Apple Music, Spotify, anybody, and say, okay, no, this song belongs to me. That's why people give takedown notice. If there are documentations to prove that it's your own or lack of documentation from the other person's part to prove that he owns it, all of those processes are like we undergo all those processes to clarify who owns what. And then now speaking from Dundo point, if we verify that you are the owner of the song, we're not deliberately, or rather we're not dealing with you, we ask you, do you want us to continue? In such situations, we can transfer or change ownership of the platform to yours. If you want us to take down that account, you can take it down and maybe redistribute it with us. But then it's till you prompt us before we start. In most, now I'm speaking for myself, and I'm also speaking from little experience of other let's say streaming platforms and distribution channels. You see, you prompt till that is investigated.
Thank you for that. Someone's asking, how do they get access to Daniel?
I mean, you can reach me through my email, daniel@unduno.com, and I will drop my number. You can hit me on WhatsApp too as well. If you're in Ghana, you don't add the +223, but if you're outside Ghana, you need to start with the prefix +233 246 26 3094. So that's my WhatsApp line. You can text me on WhatsApp anytime and I'll respond.
Okay. Another question we have is, how do you submit your song on the platform, and can it be a single or an EP or an album?
So you would have to go onto our website or our web platform, www.unduno.com, and sign up as an artist or sign up as a content provider. Then you can upload your singles, or you can upload your albums in singles, but you cannot upload an album at once. You need to upload them as single tracks. Like I said, because it's purely download, so you cannot download like an album together. You need to download like a single track, like how it is. So single track works. You can upload your EPs to as well. You can upload your full album to as well. Yeah.
Another question, is there a clash with your platform and services like DistroKid?
No, it's not, because DistroKid is a distribution service. We are a music download service, so it's a different operations. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Okay, can you call out the number again or write it? So call out the number, let me write it down.
Okay, so it's 0246
Zero two.
26, yeah, 0246 26 3094. But if you're out of Ghana, you need to add the prefix 233 before. Yeah.
233 without a zero.
Without a zero, exactly. Yes.
Okay, send privately. All right. Thank you very much. I think we've been able to go through most of the questions. Will they have access to the recording after we're done?
Yeah, we'll send an email. The moment when we're done, the recording should be made available on our YouTube channel or other means of exhibiting it. And that moment we share the link with everyone that registered for the webinar. Also, to add to what Daniel said about the DistroKid and Dundo's clash, there's definitely no clash. Although at the moment, us as a service, we are exploring the idea of redistribution. So we understand that a lot of artists want to also put out their contents on other platforms, but probably don't know how to go about it. But that's not an automatic thing. So when you sign up into Dundo, all you're giving us is the right to have your song on our platform for downloading services. Now, for that redistribution is a different ballgame. That's you specifically asking for it when we roll out. So the moment, like I said, at the moment, we are just more like beta testing the stage. The moment we are saying, okay, yes, we are doing redistribution, we'll put out the words, and at that point, you can sign up for that. So till you get to that point, there's no, even as at that point, for you to sign up, then that means you have in business with DistroKid. So never, I just wanted to spotlight the redistribution plans that we have, and hopefully we'll roll out soon. I think Patrick has signed up.
Patrick.
Because I think from the questions being asked, a lot of artists do not understand that. I think you need to highlight the fact that Dundo is like every other music streaming platform or download platform that can be accessed via other distribution companies. For example, if you go to a DistroKid and probably want to distribute your music via DistroKid, do you understand? If Dundo has a partnership with DistroKid, automatically your music goes on the platform. So I think people are trying to, they are separating the idea of, what's it called? Ndundo not being a music platform and like, asking distribution questions. There are some distribution companies that will automatically distribute your music to Dundo. So I think artists need to be clear about that, because most times it's really stressful. It sounds really easy when you're trying to like contact like people from the platform, like, oh, I'm trying to get your number, I'm trying to get your WhatsApp number, but realistically, how can you keep up? So why not leave the stress of getting your music on the platform for the distros to like handle? So in case you're the artist don't have time, you could always distribute your music. I'm very sure like Mad Solution, once you distribute to Mad Solution, automatically your song goes on Dundo. So they need to be. Then the last question that I have, so when somebody asked about a music app and you said there's no music app, so when you download music on the platform that's on the website, does it go directly to your phone, or it stays on your back end or your profile as a user, and you can always visit the platforms to play again, or automatically comes to your phone? How does it work if there's no music app?
So with music app, that's when you have the possibility of downloading and it stays on your phone. At the moment, considering we're using the web page, when you download, it goes to your phone. But that's the reason why I said the music. So two things we are trying to work on is finding a way or putting an encryption key in a situation where if you download off the website, you can't share, just so we can curtail that continuous sharing of content so that artists can monetize. And also possibly by God's grace, if we roll out the app soon, then you can download and it stays on the app. But at the moment we are speaking, is the web page you're operating from, and when you download, it goes straight to your phone.
Okay, thank you very much. This has been a very powerful 2 hours. I didn't even know we had gone for 2 hours. I had to check the time first, but it's been a really, really impactful conversation. We've had a great time speaking about literally, the whole 9 years of it, getting to know where it started from, how it started from, currently the amount of presence that Ndundo has in Nigeria and in Africa with almost 35 million users. We're at 34.5 million users now. The legalization and monetization benefits, and basically reshaping, people's minds to the acceptance of downloading music and consuming it in a legal way. So I'm really happy that we're able to have this conversation. Hopefully we'll be able to have more of this, and by the time that we have the next one, we would have moved maybe to the next step, which is having our campaign, make downloading music cool again. We'll have that campaign up and running, and people will be able to, have more to say when the conversation comes up next time, both from the consumer's aspect and from the artist aspect. We'll make more money, and everybody will be happy at the end of the day. So from my end, thank you very much. Thank you for coming. And yeah, Mandy, over to you. Thank you for having us.
Thank you, Tammy, for an amazing job. And thank you to every one of our panelists, Patrick, Ricky, Afi, Ernest. I thank you all for taking your time to be here and to share your knowledge. This was way beyond what I expected it to be. Like, conversation was nice. Thank you, Daniel, for also taking out your time to be with us, although you're supposed to be here. But thank you for being here. Like Patrick said, definitely want to clarify that Dundo is a music service company, downloading service company, not a distributor. So Ernest is here. You can always reach out to Ernest if you're busy and you want to distribute to us through MAD, definitely. At the same time, we're a self-service website, so you can always just create your profile and upload your songs, manage your back end, see how much you're making. Is very easy to use. We also have a platform or a website called ndundoforartists.com, where you can go and you have unlimited resources on how to use our platform. Any questions you may have is already answered there. And you can take the extra step of following us on our YouTube, on our Instagram, our social media platforms, general Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, at Ndundo Music NG for Nigeria, Ndundo Music GH for Ghana. So what happens is that you can just follow the page, you can join whatever we're doing. And if you have any question, you can go into our DMs or go into the page DMs, drop your questions, and definitely there'll be someone there to attend to you. I also want to use the opportunity to tell you that we have ndundo.com and we now have ndundohausa.com, just in case there's any of you here that enjoy Arewa music. We have a different platform so that you are not interrupted in any way. Like when you're scrolling through music or you're like checking for songs to download and you're in your Arewa vibes, it's not mixing with Gucci or Bayani or all of these guys, like you're strictly seeing only Arewa content. So you can get it from there. At the same time, you can still get those contents from dundo.com. So you can always maximize both platforms. We also have the Ndundo Hausa Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter platforms or social media handles. So follow us, stay in touch. We'll post these videos and we'll definitely let you know when the video is up. And it's a continuous conversation, like it doesn't end today. In case there's anything you want to talk about, we have literally these panelists you're seeing here. If you go to our pages, we have the Instagram tagged and the social media tag. Disturb them with questions. They'll be happy to answer you. Tammy is laughing, but they'll be happy. I'm sure they'll be happy to answer you. So thank you very much for joining us and thank you for being a part of this webinar. Till next time.
Man, did you sign up for that?
You signed up for it. Enjoy.
Let's ask Ricky. Ricky, I want to ask you a question, right? So when you were mentioning the artists you work with, we know you work with Olive the Boy. Why didn't you mention Olive the Boy's name?
They asked him, let me defend him. They asked him the biggest artist. You're undermining Olive the Boy. He's
No. He's actually an artist. My agency actually works directly.
Why didn't you mention his name?
No. The artists were too many. Sorry.
Your own artist.
All right. Thank you, everyone. Have a lovely day and enjoy the rest of your day.
Thank you.